You doing all right?
No pictures. I don't want no pictures.
Oh, I'm just wondering because we're seeing more homeless people out here. We're trying to see.
Hey, you, the one sitting in your comfy chair, scrolling on your phone, the one who just locked their front door and turned on the air conditioning, the one who's probably got a full fridge and a soft bed to fall into tonight. I've got a question for you. Have you ever really looked at Texas? I mean, really, truly looked. Beyond the glossy postcards of cowboys and endless blue skies, beyond the shiny new high-rises and the booming business headlines. There's a different Texas, a hidden one. A Texas where the streets are a final resting place and the shadows hold stories you'd rather not hear. It's a place where a missed paycheck can cost you everything and a tent is a luxury. A place where the smell of burning trash is the new morning coffee and the only thing colder than the concrete is the indifference. We're not here to give you a tour of the Alamo. We're here to take you on a journey into the hell that is the Texas housing crisis in 2025. It's a story about what happens when a state grows too fast for its own soul. It's about a human crisis happening in plain sight that we've all become experts at ignoring. And by the time we're done, you might just wonder how close you really are to the edge. Welcome to the forgotten streets of Texas. Let's unfold the shocking reality of Texas in 2025. No place left, the housing crisis. Open your eyes. But you're not in your bed, you're in the back seat of a rusted car. You're still in yesterday's clothes. Your body hurts. Your mouth is dry. You hear someone scream outside. You smell something burning. And you're cold. So cold. This is Texas in 2025. Not the Texas they show in magazines. Not the Texas of shiny skyscrapers or booming business. No, this is a different Texas, a hidden one. A place where tens of thousands live without a home. A place where sidewalks are being cleared, not to help, but to erase. A place where drugs kill faster than bullets. A place where despair is the only thing growing. Let me ask you something. What would you do if you had nowhere to go tonight? Would you sleep under a bridge? Would you lay your head on a sidewalk hoping no one kicks you? Would you send your children to school in the same clothes they slept in, inside a car? Because that's what people are doing, every day, right now, in this state. Now picture this, you're working full-time, maybe even 2 jobs. You're not lazy, you're not doing anything wrong, but you still can't afford a roof over your head. Rent has climbed so high that even families with steady income are getting pushed out. In cities like Austin and Dallas, rents have skyrocketed by 30 to 50% in just a few years. Landlords raise prices, tenants fall behind, one missed paycheck, one car repair, one sick day, and it's all over. You're out. Texas has one of the fastest growing populations in America, but there aren't enough homes, especially not homes that working class people can actually afford. Developers build luxury apartments, empty condos tower above tent cities, whole buildings sit vacant, but the shelters are full, the wait lists are months long, and the streets, they're packed. You might think, why don't they just get help? But here's the thing, there isn't enough help. Affordable housing projects are delayed, underfunded, or blocked by local opposition. People say, not in my backyard, while others sleep under trees across the street. In some parts of Texas, local laws are making things worse. Cities ban public camping, fine the homeless, or send in police to tear down encampments. And where do those people go? Where can they go? There's no plan, just pain, just punishment. Imagine your home being a tent and then watching it get ripped apart by bulldozers. Imagine holding your child while your only blanket is thrown into the trash. Imagine being told to move along, but never told where to go. This isn't just happening in big cities. Rural Texas is feeling it too. With no shelters and no services, people sleep in old barns, on empty lots, in cars parked behind gas stations. Out of sight, out of mind. We like to believe homelessness is rare, that it only happens to people who make bad choices. But let's be honest, if rent doubled tomorrow, how long could you stay in your home? How close are any of us to the edge? How many paychecks until you run out of options? This is the housing hell in Texas. It's not about laziness, It's not about failure. It's about a system that's left thousands behind. A system that says, if you can't afford to live, you don't get to live at all. But this is only the beginning. What happens when you're already homeless and then you get sick? What happens when your body breaks down but there's nowhere to go? Stay with me. The silent killer, healthcare collapse. So now you're on the street. No home, no bed, just concrete, noise and fear. And then your chest starts hurting. Maybe it's your heart, maybe it's an infection, maybe it's something worse. But where do you go? You don't have health insurance, you don't have a primary care doctor, you don't even have an address. And in Texas, that means you're on your own. Texas has one of the highest rates of uninsured people in the country. And for the homeless, it's even worse. Basic care like antibiotics or a wound cleaning can mean a 6-hour wait in an overcrowded emergency room, only to be sent back out onto the street, untreated. You're not sick enough to stay, but you're not well enough to survive. Think about that. A broken ankle becomes a permanent limp, an infected tooth becomes deadly, a small cut turns into a major infection. In the heat, wounds rot. In the cold, skin cracks open. There's no place to heal, no place to rest. What happens if you're diabetic but you lost your insulin when your camp was cleared? What happens if you're asthmatic and breathing in street pollution every day? What happens if you have cancer but no phone, no ID, no way to make an appointment? You die quietly, you disappear, you vanish into a system that doesn't see you. Hospitals are overwhelmed, staff are exhausted, clinics are closing, and the homeless aren't at the top of the list. Some cities offer mobile health units, but they're stretched thin. 1 van, 2 nurses, a parking lot. That's not a healthcare system. So ask yourself, what would you do if you had a fever, a rash, or a wound that wouldn't stop bleeding? Would you go to the ER knowing they'll turn you away? Would you sit in a parking lot hoping for a doctor? Would you pray your body holds out just a few more days? This is the second layer of hell. It's not just being homeless, it's being sick while homeless, and it's being treated like your life doesn't matter. But what if the pain isn't just in your body? What if the pain is in your mind? What if you're losing your grip and there's no one to help? Trapped in the mind, mental illness on the streets. Imagine waking up and not knowing what day it is. You don't remember how you got here. You hear voices that aren't real. You see shadows that don't move. You talk, but no one listens. You scream, but no one helps. And everyone just walks past you like you're not even human. That's what mental illness looks like on the streets of Texas in 2025. This isn't just about being down on your luck. This is about being lost in your own mind. In Texas, tens of thousands live with untreated mental health disorders, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, PTSD, severe depression, anxiety so crushing it feels like drowning. And when you're homeless, it's worse, much worse. No structure, no medication, no therapist, no safety. People talk to themselves, they cry for hours, they walk barefoot in traffic, they hit themselves to quiet the noise in their heads, and we call it crazy. We laugh, we cross the street. But this isn't funny, this is a medical emergency. So why aren't these people getting help? The answer is terrifying. The mental health system in Texas is broken. Psychiatric beds are full. State hospitals are overwhelmed. Community mental health centers are underfunded or shuttered. Even if someone wants help, they can't get it. Not for months. And by then, it's too late. Some get arrested. Some get dumped in ERs. Others just vanish. And let's be real. Have you ever seen someone on the street screaming at nothing and just walked away? Because that's what we all do now. We've accepted it, but it's not normal. It's not humane. It's not normal to let someone slowly lose their mind on a sidewalk. It's not normal to ignore a woman sobbing under a bridge because she thinks someone is coming to kill her. It's not normal to let a man with untreated psychosis freeze to death because he believes fire will eat his skin if he goes inside. These are people. They once had jobs, homes, families. They were loved. Something happened. Trauma, abuse, a breakdown, a war in their head they didn't start, and they can't stop. Now they're ghosts. Not dead, but not really alive either. Do you know what it feels like to not trust your own brain? Do you know how terrifying it is to feel trapped inside your own mind with no way out? That's what it means to be mentally ill on the streets of Texas. And it gets worse, because when the noise becomes too loud, they reach for something to make it stop. And that takes us to the next layer of hell. Drowning in poison. The drug crisis. You're shaking. You haven't eaten in 2 days. Your hands don't stop twitching. Your mind is racing. Your bones ache. You can't sleep. You can't think. You just want it to stop. So you reach for something, anything, to make it go away. On the streets of Texas, drugs aren't just a problem. They're survival. They numb the pain. They blur the fear. They kill the hunger. They silence the voices. They make the cold just a little more bearable. But the drugs today, they're not what they used to be. We're not talking about weed. We're not even talking about heroin. We're talking about fentanyl, xylazine, the zombie drug, meth so potent it fries your brain in weeks. These are not highs. They are chemical weapons, and they're everywhere. You've heard the word fentanyl, but do you understand it? It takes less than a grain of salt to kill you. One hit, and your heart stops. It's in fake pills, in powder, even marijuana. People take something and they don't wake up. In Texas, overdose deaths have exploded. Bodies pile up in public parks, in bathrooms, in tents, and no one notices until the smell hits. Narcan is everywhere now. People are revived again and again, 5 times, 10 times. Not because they're trying to die, but because they're trying to forget, trying to escape. And here's the scary part. It's not just addicts. It's people who never touched drugs, until they lost everything, until they had to stay awake all night to stay safe, until they needed something to walk just 1 more mile, until the fear was louder than their conscience. Addiction becomes the only thing they can rely on. But addiction on the street is a death sentence. You get sick if you stop. You get sicker if you don't. You steal. You get arrested. You get beaten. You disappear. And nobody comes looking for you. Have you ever seen someone so high they forgot their own name? Have you ever watched someone overdose and no one moves? That's Texas in 2025, a place where drugs are a way to survive, that slowly kills you. No funeral, no flowers, just a body bag, just a city truck, just another empty space on the sidewalk, filled the next day by someone new. We are watching a generation dissolve, one hit at a time. And if you think it can't happen to you, ask yourself, if you lost your job, your home, your health, your mind, what would you turn to? Because that's all they're doing, escaping. But there is no escape from what's coming next. The final wall, shelters, and the way out. Shelters are supposed to be safe, but in Texas, many aren't. They're overcrowded, understaffed, underfunded. For some, shelters feel as dangerous as the streets. Addiction? You're banned. Mental illness? Not welcome. Strict curfews, limited belongings, no privacy. Some people would rather sleep outside than risk going in. There aren't enough beds. Thousands are left outside every single night, sleeping in parking lots, under bridges, in cars. This trauma doesn't just end, it compounds and it breaks people slowly. But it doesn't have to be this way. We can fix this. It starts with changing the system. Instead of short-term fixes, we need real solutions: safe housing, mental health care, addiction treatment, job training. Many cities have seen success with housing first programs. You give someone a home, then help them heal. Because without stability, there's no recovery, no rebuilding, just surviving. Texas needs to invest in people, in real solutions, in shelters that work, in housing that's truly affordable. But more than that, we need to change how we think. Homelessness is not a crime. It's not a choice. It's not them. It could be any of us. One wrong turn, one medical bill, one layoff. The question is, will we care before it's our turn, or will we keep pretending this is someone else's problem? Because the streets of Texas in 2025 are screaming for help. And if we don't listen, we'll all be swallowed by the silence.